We are joined by Frank the Crank Camacho, regular of the show. How are you doing, Frank?
Very good, brother. Good morning to you guys. I know it's like the afternoon over here, and please don't mind me. I'm sorry if I'm eating lunch. It's in between training sessions, but I appreciate you guys having me on again.
It's all good, man. What are you eating? That looks like a lot of green there.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of greens and some chicken and like a little bit of avocado.
Yeah, nice.
Uh,
The good stuff.
fight camp
Like
food.
food. That's it. That's it. Mate, you're currently in California, obviously, with Team Oyama. What are your days currently looking like, apart from the training? Like, what does a normal fight camp day look like?
Um, so for example, today, uh, it really varies depending on what coach wants, you know. But I mean, for the most part, it's a set schedule. We have like 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10:30 practice, and then you have a break, and then we would come in around maybe like 5 o'clock. So I'm going in around 5 o'clock p.m. to work with a coach, work on some specific stuff, and then we train again at 6:30 at night, and then I'll probably just get some cardio in after.
Yep.
So I'm I'm very lucky to be out here during camp. Um, and mad respect and hats off to my wife for manning the two dinosaurs back home.
Of course.
Because in between training sessions, I can really rest and relax and recoup, you know, and recover for the next one.
Yeah, awesome. How is California as a whole in terms of the COVID restrictions? Is it like very restrictive to like I saw you guys were going out for a run. Like, what's the overall sentiment there at the moment?
Oh man, it's you know we're kind of stuck in our little training bubble.
Yeah.
I don't really go out that much. From what I saw, I had to go get a pair of running shoes, and it seemed like everything was is like COVID normal. I don't know if you know how to if
Yeah,
you can
no, it makes
understand that. You
sense.
know, everyone
Yeah.
like there's some people out, there's people wearing masks, and then you get the young guys that are not wearing masks, and then some stores are open. It's all outdoor seating for restaurants. It's COVID normal,
Yeah.
I guess is a way to say it. Although California and a bunch of states are having spikes, and obviously a lot of fighters and corner are being popped, you know, for COVID. It's kind of scary. So that's why we're very proactive with staying in our little bubble
Yep.
and not going out and partying or anything.
Yeah, of course. I think you perfectly articulated it. It's COVID normal. It's not normal, but you've been in it for so long that yeah, you see a couple of masks here and there.
It's
You're like,
yeah,
it exists, but it's you kind of trying to pocket away in your mind.
yeah. It's kind of cool because here in California, a lot of people are wearing masks. The last time I was in Vegas, dude, I'll go into like the supermarket and no one was wearing masks
Jeez.
except for the staff, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
this is crazy.
Yeah. Yep. How are you feeling about this fight camp specifically? Like, how do you feel? What's your internal feelings at the moment?
Um, and we need this one.
Yep.
I would be lying if there was no pressure.
Yep.
Um, but the theme of this camp is just focus.
Yep.
Just focus on the things that I can control. You know what I mean? Go and I can control waking, getting good sleep, waking up, eating right, taking my supplements, training and pushing hard during training sessions, being attentive, and all the other things like COVID and uh, just all the other BS that you can't control.
Mm.
Just kind of block that off and just focus on the task at hand.
Yep. Yep. I actually saw on your Insta stories that this is not of recent, but you're reading a couple of books. Specifically, what caught my eye was the Five Rings by
Oh yeah.
Miroto Musashi, and it's interesting because I actually had a chat with a fighter who talked to me about this book. Have you always been a reader, and is this book resonating with you specifically during this time, or
Yeah, like I'm very hungry for knowledge.
yep,
Am I a reader? hell no. Do I need audiobooks, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe I feel like a freaking badass when I'm like reading and I'm like in my bed and I'm like, man, I wish people could see me reading. I'm gonna take a picture so that I could feel freaking cool. But no. But the stuff that I'm taking in from that book is awesome. You know, the Art of War, the Book of Five Rings, Miyato Musashi, man, he's a freaking beast.
Yeah.
Uh, just all um just again focusing back on the martial artist and the martial arts mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, you saw another book on there where it was like coddling of the American mind,
Yeah.
and that's like a whole different thing. You know what
Very
I mean?
different.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I like to focus on on mindset. Trying to, instead of going on YouTube and looking camera stuff, which I do a lot, or like videography or photography stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching fights.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, just really focusing and having a good time and making the most out of my time.
Of course, of course. And speaking of making the most out of your time, I've also been seeing some amazing photography shots. Follow guys Frank's Instagram page, Caught by Crank, specifically
Oh,
of the fighters in Team Oyama. How do you even how do you integrate that? Like, do you have the camera always on hand and you're like,
yeah,
yep,
dude. I wish I could show you my setup. It's just I when I was out here, I just ordered a little hard case and
yep,
I just put my. I mean, I shoot very. I'm a very simple type of shooter, documented type of shooter. Put a 50 millimeter on there,
yep,
and I just in between, after training sessions, I'm like, pop, 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 so
yep,
I'll just take some shots. Just kind of like it helps me work on a different skill set,
yep.
keeps things fresh, and I love doing it, and it's good for the guys too. And 20 years down the line, I can look back at these folders and these photos and be like, wow, man, I remember that day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a constructive pastime, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Mate,
For sure.
let's talk about this year because it's been a whirlwind year. We've had a couple of chats, and let me articulate it, and maybe I can get your thoughts. So, in the beginning of the year, you were supposed to fight Patrick. I remember we had that chat. Then obviously COVID hits, and then you have your new opponent in Matt, and Matt gets COVID, and then you give it a new opponent in Justin James, and like, notwithstanding like the fight against James, which we will talk about, have you ever allowed yourself to think about like it's a whirlwind year, right? Like how did you even like process all those emotions and that much uncertainty?
And on top of that, freaking COVID,
Yeah, of
you
course.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the lockdowns and the quarantines. Uh, let's just say that it's really worked the inner side of what martial arts really is about. Having to learn how to adapt, having to learn how to deal with adversity, and how to stay calm during the rough weather.
yeah,
Uh, I'm glad that Frivola's corner that got COVID was okay, and not too much, not a lot of people got harmed because of it, in the MMA like arena.
yep,
But yeah, it's been a roller coaster, dude. Man, but that's a fight. You know what I mean? And just gotta adapt. And that's exactly what I didn't do against Justin James.
yep, yep. So tell us about the fight with Justin James, the whole COVID environment, and the fact that it was only a couple of days' notice to you had a swap of opponent. How did it all play out in your mind, and do you feel it had some level of an effect on the outcome?
If anything, I was just so I was so glad that we were still able to fight.
Yep,
If that was the one thing that I do remember feeling. I was like, wow, man, we could still be able to fight. We could still do what we want to do. Um, if anything, just the environment of the whole fight week was just very different.
yep. How so?
Going in, you're getting tested. Usually fight week, you're going there, you're high-fiving everyone. You're in a nice hotel. If you're fighting in Vegas, you're probably like the MGM Grand. I don't know where they stay.
Hmm.
Uh, you're signing posters. You're doing this. You're doing media. You're checking the Reebok guys. You're saying what's up. You're seeing everyone. Everyone has a workout room. You're seeing all the fighters. This one is very isolated to yourself, to your team. It was a very different environment.
Yep,
So going into this next one, I at least I'm excited because I have an idea of what to expect.
yep. Gotcha. When you look back in the fight, and there's no doubt you might have had. How do you how do you analyze that? What do you think you could have done different when you play that back?
With Justin James,
Yes.
keep my freaking right hand up.
Guard, always a guard.
Yeah. Uh, um, yeah, bro, there's so many shoulda, woulda, couldas that I could say right now.
Mm,
But man, fuck, dude. The very basis of it, keep your freaking hands up.
yep.
And that's what happens. He fainted low. I took the bait and he came up high and he doubled up the left hook. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And then he took it all the way. He fought me the way that I would have fought me if I took a fight 2 weeks notice.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Um, there was a post that you did on Instagram. It was very heartfelt about that after the fight, and no doubt, like you had a lot of like emotions, and these are emotions that fighters feel, obviously coming off a loss, about being positive and obviously moving forward and all that. Yeah, tell us about your mind. Like, how long did it take for you to mentally recover from that particular fight?
Oh, dude, so it was freaking rough, bro.
Mm,
So I get stopped in less than a minute by Justin James. I get back on an airplane. I fly back home. I'm on lockdown at home for 2 weeks
mm,
because of travel restrictions. Because of travel. So I'm forced to freaking just deal with it,
yep.
And in a way, I was kind of glad that I had to address the bull by the horns straight on.
Yep.
I could have, you know, pre-COVID, I could have just gone out and get drunk or eat my freaking mind out, eat tubs of ice cream or whatever, but I couldn't, and I didn't want, I chose not to because I was like, you know what, let me just learn about this feeling so that because I don't like it.
Yep.
And I shot a video on Instagram called "Light at the End of the Tunnel," and really what it was is having a very good support group around you.
Yep.
Getting a lot of ton of messages, but yeah, messages online or whatever are great and they're awesome, but really just having coach there, having my teammates there, Alex Perez there, having my wife and my two boys, like no matter what, they love me for who I am,
Yep.
and the fans, the support was just really awesome, and that's the light at the end of the tunnel. Fuck, it just sucks. The initial slice in the wound when it's fresh is really, it hurts, but man, when the scar heals up and it heals and it heals right, it'll be good again.
Perfectly said, mate. Should be a poet after all this.
I know, right?
Mate, let's talk about your upcoming fight. When I heard Brok Weaver, I was thinking, fuck. He's coming off a loss, but there are no easy fights in the UFC when you think about it. What were your initial
Yeah,
thoughts that entered the mind when you heard about this matchup?
I was like, man,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yep.
He's a lefty.
Yep.
Fuck, my whole UFC career except for two guys were all lefties.
You're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's tough. He comes forward. He bangs.
Yep.
When we got the word, my coach and my manager were like, yeah, dude, let's do that. That's the fight. Let's take it.
Yep.
Let's go out there and let's prove that you still got it, Frank.
Yep. Yep. In your mind, what's your approach to this fight, and what do you see as the keys to victory? Because a lot of yeah, I've seen a lot of chats that you've been having, and a lot of people are expecting this stand up war and this bang. And while that's a really good narrative, like, is that how you see it? How you see this playing out?
Um, I just gotta come up with all my tools, man.
Yep.
And I know I've been saying that, and guys are coming out hard and they're coming out strong in the first freaking minute. Benil came out, body kick, clinch, took me down. Justin James came out hard. Like I think uh, there's a quote here. Back to crank poet
Yeah.
here.
Here we go.
There's a quote from The Last Samurai when I was watching it.
Yep.
When they were fighting with the wooden swords, he said, "Too many mind, no mind." You know,
Yep.
maybe I'm thinking too much. I just need to go out there and get my groove and just let them fly. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Uh, I mean, one thing going wild, right? But I just need to go out there and get my groove and just let them fly. And once I start getting that going, for 15 minutes, I'm a hard dude to deal with.
Yep. Absolutely. And have you researched much about Brok and his background and the native background that he has?
I did a little bit when I found out about his fight.
Yep.
It was really interesting because it just gave me more respect to him and his people. Very heavy history, very heavy history, and it's so nice to see him, man, ride that flag and ride his that heritage up high, and as the Choctaw. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, but
Yeah.
his Native American tribe, coming out as a warrior. If anything, that hypes me up. The more respect for me to even give him a better fight. Warrior against warrior, Native warrior against warrior,
Yep.
and that is something that uh like the more it's kind of, I know it kind of sounds like contradicting, right? But it gives me more respect, and it's like, in order to honor that, I have to fight him harder,
Yep. Yep.
and he wouldn't want any other way.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that definitely makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, in your mind, obviously, I think you want to get the victory at all costs, whatever method. But like, what would be the ideal way of winning it if you run it over in your mind?
Running it over in my mind, I want to fight my fight.
Yep.
If I mean, as broad of an answer that is,
Yep.
I need to fight my fight, and just fight him and just have him have fun, dude. I just need to go out there and have fun and do my thing,
Yep.
and focus on what I do. Again, too many mind, no mind. Just go out there and do my thing. Maybe I'm thinking too much or this and that and pressure or whatever, but when I get into my groove, I'm a hard dude to deal with for 15 minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And mate, like, yeah, you're right. Like, focus is definitely important, and there are a lot of distractions and elements there to add to it. This is the last fight of your current contract of the UFC. Like, how are you approaching that aspect? Does that add an element of pressure, and how are you dealing with that?
Um, yeah, I'll be lying, dude, if there was no pressure, bro.
Yep.
This being the last fight of my contract. Maybe it's what I need to put my back against the wall, or but yeah, just again, like focusing on what I can do. You know what I mean? And what I can control, and I can currently control the way I'm gonna fight, and the control the way I'm gonna prepare. And fuck it, dude, just let it out there. Leave it all out there. Fuck, if it becomes fight of the night, then shit, make it fight of the night.
Yeah.
Man, we get the stoppage freaking early. Then, hey, shit, we get the stoppage, man, or whatever the outcome is. I'm gonna leave it all out there.
Absolutely. I think that's a great approach, and I think there's something. What's the word? There's calming. There's something very calming and reassuring about Definity, if that kind of makes sense. Like, it is a fact that this is that, but I'm not gonna allow it to affect my performance, and I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah,
playing with house money, so to speak. Let's do it. There's nothing to lose.
yeah, man, I have no choice, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Either you know what I mean. Like either way, on September 12th, we're gonna be fighting.
Yeah.
So fuck, dude. It don't matter. Like whether it doesn't matter if I feel like this or if I feel like that or if I feel like this or if I feel like that. Fuck it, dude. On September 12th, we're going. So might as well. Hey, I'm all in, bro.
That's it.
I'm all in. You know what I mean? And because I'm all in, the focus needs to be on what I can control.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Uh,
Frank, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Do you want to? I'll leave it to you. Do you want to say anything to the fans where they can follow you, all your handles and that?
First off, man, shout out to my wife and to my two boys. Man, I love them and I miss them. Yeah, we have plans for 2020. You know what I mean? So and it's gonna start off with getting a good win here. Um, to all the fans, to you guys, the media, I love you guys. Awesome backdrops in the back, freaking dope. Yeah, and follow me on social media. Shoot me some love. Any other questions? You guys know where to find me. And I appreciate you having me on the show always, brother.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Frank. It's a pleasure, and good luck in your fight.
Thank you, bro.